All right, we're going to go ahead and get started for today. This is going to be lesson number 3. What are we going to need today? We're going to need a ball. This could be a soccer ball. This could be a playground ball. We're going to need something to mark our area. This could be a cone, a shoe, a water bottle, a red Solo cup, or any other type of cup you could find, or anything else that you could think of that would be able to mark your area for you. And lastly, we're going to need a safe open area where we can move around and set up our cones or placement markers. Class overview. We just did the greeting and our attendance. We're going to get into an instant activity. We're going to get into what we're going to be learning today. And we're going to get into our focus activity, and then we're going to review and close out the lesson. All right, so our instant activity is going to be a footwork warm-up. We're going to need an area of about 10 yards to successfully complete these exercises. We're going to mark our starting and stopping point with an item. Again, a cone, a shoe, a cup, a water bottle, anything. Each exercise is going to be counted as completed for 1 rep once you have gone down to the stopping point and back to your starting point. So again, 1 repetition is going to be down and back to that in that 10-yard area. Next, we're going to be having, there's going to be 3 different exercises, and you're going to complete 3 reps of each individual exercise. So once you've completed 3 reps of the first exercise, we're going to rest, and then we're going to move on to the second. In these exercises, we want you guys to be looking up, right? So we're going to be trying to simulate a little bit how we're going to be running while dribbling with our feet. All right. Instant activity exercise number 1. Footwork exercise number 1 is going to be high knees. And in this, we're going to want to get as many reps in the space used as possible. We want fast feet, not a fast time down and back, right? So we want to get as many high knees as we can in that 10 yards down and back. We're going to have our hands placed out, palms facing to the ground, and every time you bring your knees up, touch your knee to your hand. I'm going to go ahead and get into this exercise. I'm going to give you guys a 30-second timer here. We're going to perform for rep number 1, and we're going to go down and back with your, and then you're going to have the next slide is going to be a 15-second rest. So here we go. Mute myself. All right, so you guys should have gotten that 1 rep in. We're going to go to the next slide. We got a 15-second rest here. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into rep number 2. Next slide. Same thing, high knees, down and back, rep number 2. I'll give you guys 30 seconds for this. All right, we're going to go next slide. We're going to have a 30-second rest. I'm sorry, a 15-second rest. There we go. Alrighty, rep number 3. Here we go. Last rep on the high knees. All righty. Here's our 15-second rest, and then we're going to get into our footwork exercise number 2. All right. So exercise number 2, footwork exercise number 2 is going to be a side shuffle or a slide to that 10-yard marker and back. So we're going to want to face sideways. We're going to want to get in an athletic position. We're going to have our knees bent, arms out, and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. There's going to be no timer needed. You're going to want to perform that activity for your 3 reps. So we're going to have 10-yard slide or shuffle to the right, and then come back to the starting point as 1 rep. Once finished, go to the next slide. All righty, got those 3 reps in. We're going to move on to our instant activity number 3, which is going to be our footwork activity number 3. Get some rest in before that. All righty, footwork exercise number 3. It's going to be quick feet. We're going to want to set up again our 2 cones or our placement markers. We're going to imagine that we have an agility ladder, and we're going to do 1 foot in each square as quickly as possible. So we're going to start at your first placement marker, and you're going to perform the quick feet to the end of your marker and back. I'm going to set this timer, the 30-second timer, let you guys get your rep in. Then we're going to go to the next slide. We're going to have a 15-second rest after that. I'm going to turn my camera off, and I'm going to mute myself. So here we go. All righty, we're going to go ahead and move on to our rest. 15-second rest here. And 3, 2, 1, we're getting into rep number 2 here. quick feed again, down and back. Here's your timer. Alrighty, let's get into the rest for our next set. Three, two, one, and we're getting into rep number 3. Give you guys this timer and get ready to go. All righty, go ahead and move on here. All right, so what are we going to be learning today? Today we're going to be working on progressions for dribbling with the feet to reach our end result, which is going to be successfully dribbling through 4 sets of cones and back through with our dominant foot. This lesson should be performed outdoors in an open area while in self-space. Before we get into that, we have our health activity for the day, which is going to be properly brushing your teeth. I have a video here for your guys that is from the American Dental Association, which is going to show you guys how to exactly brush your teeth. Then I'm going to give you guys about a 2-minute window, 2 or 3 minute window where you guys are going to go ahead and perform this for us. And then we're going to move on to our focus activities for the day. So here's your guys' video. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and shut my screen off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set a timer for you guys. I'm going to have it on me over here. It's not going to be on the screen, but I'm going to come back in once you guys are up with this activity. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my screen off, mute myself again, give you guys that time. you guys about 10 more seconds here. As you guys saw, I did play the video again, just in case any of you guys missed any of that information. So I went ahead and played it for you again. And we're going to go ahead and move on here, everyone, to our focus activity for the day. So we're going to be getting into dribbling with the feet. We mentioned this before. So the cues for dribbling with the feet, we're going to want to make contact with the foot in the middle of the ball. We're going to push the ball forward gently with the inside of our foot. We're going to keep the ball closer to the body when traveling. And we're going to use the eyes to look at the ball and to look in front of you as well. So progression activity number 1. It's going to be dribbling in a straight line with our strong foot. So if you kick with your right foot, then you're going to be using your right foot. If you kick with your left foot, you're going to be using your left foot. As you can see, Miss Spicer over here in the video is using her dominant right foot. So for progression number 1, we're going to want to set up a cone or a placement marker for your starting point. And you're going to want to dribble, set up a separate cone about 5 feet away from that first cone to have a stopping point. We're going to set the marker down there. As you can see here, Ms. Spicer has 2 large cones about 5 feet apart, and she's dribbling back and forth between each one with her dominant right foot. So we're going to want to go back and forth from the starting cone and begin to dribble to the other cone and then come back, just like you see Ms. Spicer doing here. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. We're going to have a minute and 30-second timer here. As you can see, again, the video of Ms. Spicer right here. If you guys need any direction from that, I'm going to go ahead and mute my screen, and I'm going to set this up for you guys. All righty. We're going to go ahead and move on here. So we're going to continue that progression of activity number 1. We're going to continue to dribble in a straight line. However, we're going to move our ending point cone about 5 big steps forward, as you see Miss Spicer did here. Again, we're going to be dribbling for a longer distance, so we're going to want to try and keep as much control of that ball as we can, and we're still using our dominant foot. As you can see here, Miss Spicer is using her right dominant foot. Get into this myself and turn my video off, and I'm going to start this timer for you guys. All righty, going to go ahead and move on here to progression activity number 2, which is going to be dribbling around a cone, around our cone in a 4-cone grid. So for progression number 2, you'll be dribbling in self-space, but a bigger space, and we're not going to have to go in a straight line here. Make sure for this task that you're keeping tight control of the ball, and we're going to want to have it close to our body to maintain that nice control. You can see Miss Spicer here is going in the 4-corner grid. She's dribbling around inside of her 2 cones there. So we're going to want to make sure we set up just like we have right here. I'm going to go ahead and start this 2-minute timer for you guys. Again, we have the video right here where my mouse is of Ms. Spicer completing this task. So if you end up struggling, make sure you look at that video and take your direction from that. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on here. Our final outcome activity, activity number 3, is going to be dribbling through the 4 cones in a straight line. We're going to set up 3 additional cones or placement markers in a straight line from their starting point cone, and we'll successfully dribble through that cone in and out of those cones, as you see Ms. Spicer doing here in the video right below. So it's going to be 1 minute and 30 seconds. You're going to be dribbling through the cones, and once you get to the last cone, turn around, pick the ball up, and walk back, as you see Ms. Spicer doing right now. Let you guys see that one more time before I move on to the next slide. So you can see she picks the ball up after dribbling through her cones and walks it back. That's going to be for the first minute and 30 seconds. Turn my screen off, mute myself, and give you guys this minute and 30-second timer. I will be back after that. Alrighty. So the continuation of our final activity outcome is going to be to dribble through the 4 cones in a straight line. You're going to use those same cones that you had already set up. So this is going to be the final minute and 30 seconds of our activities for the day. We're going to dribble through the cones, and once you get to the last cone, we're going to turn around and dribble back through the cones to your starting point, and then you're going to repeat until your time is up. So the only difference between this activity and the last one we just did is we're going to be turning around and dribbling back rather than picking our ball up and walking back to our starting point. And we're going to continue dribbling back and forth in between those cones until the end of this minute and 30 seconds. So I'm going to start, turn my screen off, mute myself, give you guys this minute and 30 seconds, and I will be back right after that. All right, and everyone go ahead and finish up your last round here. Move on to the next slide. Just the last slide is going to be the review of our lesson today. It's going to be the same thing that we've been doing. It's going to be a flip grid. We're going to have someone record a video of you successfully dribbling with your feet through the cones and back using the inside of your dominant foot with those correct cues, which are going to be making contact with the foot on the middle of the ball. And we're going to push the ball forward gently with the inside of our foot. We're going to keep the ball closer to our body when we're traveling. And we're going to use our eyes to look at the ball and in front of you in self-space. So we're going to want to go to flipgrid.com and enter the code given below to complete your assessment. As you can see, the code is right here. And for next class, we're going to need the following: a ball that can be kicked. It could be a soccer ball or a playground ball. We're going to need an object that can be used as a placement marker or a target. This could be a cone, a water bottle, a red solo cup, a hula hoop, a laundry hamper, or any type of basket that you have. Really anything that can just mark your area will work for that. Alrighty, so hope everyone enjoyed class today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week.